Yo, what's up? Got something to say right now. I just saw the Young Republicans on their Facebook page. I mean, their Instagram. They just posted some kind of video with an attractive lady talking about how, Islam's such a threat and all this stuff. And you know what? I'm sure there are people in the Islam religion who are doing bad things, but there's also some of them doing good things. And the same is true also for Christians and for Jews as well. So this whole kind of targeting thing is real whack. But better the wolf be honest than the wolf that's in sheep's clothing. But to tell you the truth, to a certain extent, right, the Republicans that you see out there are also in sheep's clothing as well too. Because the fact of the matter is that this is actually a false narrative. It's some Hollywood stuff where they try to play this little game. And just so you know, at the top, the Republicans and Democrats are in on it together. They cook up these narratives and these false fights for us to have. They think we're suckers. And really, it's not cool. So, that's why you won't see me doing anything with the Young Republicans Club, because there may be some people there that mean well, that are trying to do the right thing, and I believe the rank and file is true for all the rank and file across the nation. But they put these people at the top, celebrities, party leaders that are safe and who are going to do all kinds of jacked up stuff to keep the grassroots apart. When a lot of times I work with all the groups, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Greens, Libertarians, and on the ground they're all saying the same thing, but they're all convinced to not work together, which is ridiculous. And it is what it is. Anyways, I just made a call to the House Oversight Committee. That's right, the U.S. House Oversight Committee, regarding things going on. I'm actually told them about the PSL, because I sent an email this morning to PSL and Communist Party USA about the upcoming protests that I got coming up. And you know what? Being someone who's actually Korean American, who's actually my own people are split right now to North and South Korea, right? Yeah, brothers and sisters were torn apart by a fight that they just didn't really have any real stake in, right? Like some other parties came into the Korea and decided to make it their proxy war. And F that. Anyways, so still trying to get that thing dealt with. So the thing is that PSL has really been getting in the way of this in a really manipulative way, and I really don't appreciate it. So, but yeah, once again, I was going to go back talking about the Arabic population, the Muslim population right here, right? Because there's some crossover, and then it's not 100%. But anyways. So another thing that I want you guys to really notice that in all my work, right? You'll see me confronting Yang about the Palestinian issue, stuff like that, right? But really, for many years now, they've completely abandoned it. You'll see me putting messages on Linda Sarsour's page, right? Yeah, asking for help, asking for addressment, saying I want to work together. There's no response. I have videos of myself going to the Arab American Association, where I used to live right around the block. But they have never responded back. And you could see, with my whole work, my whole coalition, from the disabled to the look, I'm just being real out here, right? Yeah, I'm not really approving of what of the war in Lebanon and all this other thing, Palestine and Iran at the same time. I think that's really whack. But once again, I just got to put this out too. In all my body of work, right, with all these years, all these different issues, have you ever seen anybody Arabic or Muslim really backing me up? Okay? Not only that, right? Have you seen them backing up or addressing any of the needs of anybody else in my coalition? And the answer to that is no. I have had several interactions with, Jewish people. And actually Zionists, right? You could see us when we were in front of, I think it's, the title of the video is called Addressing the BS at the Queen's DA's office. You could see that me and the Zionists are kind of a little bit on edge about because honestly, as a Korean American, my country's on the same timeline of manipulation, but while Israel gets so much aid, right? Korea's actually just not getting treated the same. And whenever I try to get that issue addressed with any of these Zionists, they get mad. They don't want to treat us fair. They deny that we went through they would deny our Holocaust while they make a big deal about their own. I don't appreciate that. You know what I mean? And one day we're going to have a real conversation about that. But they're actually showing up in these spaces. Look, I'll be real with you. Look at the evidence. Show me otherwise. You'll see me with Arabics and Muslims, right, saying like, what's happened to y'all is whack and I stand with you, right? You'll see me blowing up the Yang Gang, right, for him kowtowing to Grace Meng and the whole Israel lobby. You won't see other members of Yang Gang doing that, but the members at Yang Gang who didn't confront that issue are the ones who are propelled right now by the ones who screaming free Palestine. Y'all ridiculous. Anyways, I just want to put that out there. So the thing is that even though I am staging this protest of PSL and Communist Party USA, I want a lot of people. There's this concept of rhinos, whatever. And who's more rhino-y than freaking RFK? All right, if you take a look at the anti-war movement, which I'm revealing right now, I've revealed in a lot of emails. I've been saying this many years. Actually, really, the reason why I'm running for this particular office is to expose this whole BS. I have New York City's only third-party independent candidate debates. I'm going to repost the mail that I sent out to these people on my Facebook page. I know the progressives at the community don't care. That's going to be addressed in the email that I already wrote. I've been trying to get this addressed for many years. The third-party independent space has been co-opted. You think that the people who are running the anti-war movement, the third-party movement, are not co-opted? Think about that, right? Yeah? There's so much at stake. And again, their ass is handed to them. So, listen, I'm doing championship work for the right and exposing the left. But you could see that the people who's closer to the power, they don't want the regular people getting any say in this, right? Both sides have this going on. There's some gatekeepers at the top, right? Like Morris Katz on the left, right? Yeah. Who decides with his little freaking buddies about, right? Yeah, who's worthy and who's not. And it doesn't matter what you achieve or sacrifice. It matters that you look like a grand planner, that you look marketable, that you're willing to enable their whole system of exploitation. And, y'all didn't grand plan. I'm a victim of war. But y'all want to put these other people, in the front, like Scott Ritter, a convicted 2-time pedophile. RFK's all over this. So is Medea Benjamin. They're all tied together through this guy named Nick Brana. If you look at this thing called Rage Against the War Machine. And, sadly, one of my, actually, I think she was runner-up for Actress of the Year, right? What's her name? Ramona, right? From Save Section 9. She's very effective. That's why she's a runner for Actress of the Year, right? With the little that she's given, she makes amazing things happen. Some of that might be, you might think that she's connected, and I think that there might be that too. But see how, easy it is for a group like that, and this has been happening on all the issues I work on, from public housing to anti-war activism. A whole group of people keep getting together to eject me from the movement, to silence me, I have my own coalition, right? Yeah? But they actually instruct the media to not report on any of my work. They're trying, just the way they're erasing me, they'll erase you because I've done this before. I'm an activist for over 30 years. So, just so you know too, actually I was at the recent official Queen's barbecue. I saw a lady there in a hijab, and I went to go talk to her, and I said, you know what? I'm your friend here. I said, if anybody gives you a problem, I want you to know that, I got your back. Because, there's a lot of messed up things being said about Muslim people right now in the Republican community. She looks scared. I said I had her back. It is what it is, yeah, but I do this constantly. I just want you to see, right, yeah? And I've been real steady with it. I'll say right now that the amount of money that that IPAC gives to Democrats has always been more than Republicans, even in the years where Trump was president. So, by playing to people's weaknesses, their desire for money or for fame or for some other stupid stuff like that, right? A lot of people is selling out, and I can't blame them, right? It's not their issue. This is my issue, right? Yeah? Korean Americans on the same timeline of government manipulation. But bringing Korea in as equals into the conversation, that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. In fact, in response, right, you see they're trying to bring up, what's his name? Blakeman. He's running for governor. Right, yeah, he's talking about the Scottish Korean. That guy's not even an American citizen, right? America first, not really. It's do you have the same message as me first? Right? Are you gonna shill for me first? Yeah, Nick Shirley running into New York City, right? Yeah. Who's the number one owner of the? Look, I gotta tell you again, right? Yeah. Look, what's the largest and longest housing public not-for-profit housing organization in New York City? That's Met Council on the Housing, right? Do you think there's going to be any investigation into, there was a guy named, I forgot his name, but he did an investigation into how the Orthodox community is actually really going on welfare and having a lot of babies and stuff like that. And look, one of the most generous stories that I have is from an Orthodox Jewish man. So I'm going to tell you right now that just the way I stand against the whack stuff and the targeting of Muslims, I'm not down for that for the Jews either. And even, I don't stand for Zionism at all. I really dislike it. But you can't kill an idea, and there's different implementations. Crucify me for this, right? Yeah? If the people, it doesn't have to be an actual, state government. If there's a group of people in that region who say, you know what, we stand on the idea of Israel. We stand on that idea. We're in this location, and we're part of this particular idea. I have no problem with that. They have the right to do that, right? You can't take away people's, as long as they're not hurting other people, you know what I mean? Then that would be all right. The way it is now, this is not all right. Anyways, just to go back to it. So, a lot of cats out here like Blakeman and Jose Hernandez running around saying, anti-Semitism, blah, blah, blah. But they don't got nothing to say about the stuff that's going on to the Muslims right now with young Republicans. I'll say it. If nobody else say it, I'll say it. And you think all Republicans think one way, then you're really buying into their marketing. You're buying into they want the Republicans, that's what they agreed on together, the Democrats, Republicans at the top, the consultants. They cooked this up. They said, we're going to have this fake little fight. Instead of acknowledging a Republican like myself that's America first, that brings up a lot of real issues. The left side doesn't want these issues brought up either. They want to be the good guys, bad guys. It's kind of like wrestling dynamic, distracting you from what's real. Look up who gets the most U.S. aid, which country gets the most U.S. aid, right? Yeah, we're just throwing the money away, right? How are you going to say you against welfare, right? When you're building, you know why you're against welfare, because you're against, right? You're not against, maybe social safety nets can become a trap. And Israel's become really dependent on the huge hammer of the United States being swung for it. You know what I mean? It's unnatural. If you're going to do that, y'all should just become part of the U.S. Right? Stop pretending, right? You guys can't stand on your own. Right? We should just acquire all your stuff. You know what I mean? Really. Y'all are ridiculous. Why do you get to maintain your sovereignty when you can't handle that stuff on your own? This is not, right? How many years has it been? There's no sign of it changing. You know what I mean? And all the politicians, the freaking politicians. Anyways, look, that's enough. That's what I got to say about for today's little daily update. And even though, last thing I want to mention is I got this anti-communism event coming up, and the Zionists, I had a protest of Mamdani, but they decided to do a separate event. But for this one, they're coming into this one. Look, I don't agree with them, but without and I suspect traps for real. Yep, but You can't have peace if you don't open the door. You can't have peace if you don't have a conversation. And this is coming from a Korean American whose issue is just as deep, just as long-seated, and just as serious. Actually, more serious, right? I'm going to say, because the thing is that while Israel came out and cried to the world and got billions of dollars in aid, Korea went through multiple corrupt organizations. The stresses that are killing my people off today with huge amounts of stress, hyper competitiveness that is leading to the destruction of our birth rate and puts us on the tip of a nuclear proxy war. So I know that this is not really exciting to watch. You know what I mean? It's not really being repeated by any of the celebrities. So kind of like in my own little pocket realm. I don't do this to get famous. I do this, right? It'd be nice because that fame could help me achieve some things or get some things addressed, but I understand my position in power from doing this for 30 years. So I just do this to document. Documentation is the key, right? So future peoples who does the investigation, who goes looking, they're going to find my stuff. They're going to see, right, how things were during this era. And they're going to see every difficulty that you raise in my path gives me another chance to prove my commitment to this cause. So I'm a war survivor. Like I said in the email, I'm put the email, I'm going to chop it up and put it on my Facebook, which is highly controlled by the algorithm, put it on my Instagram. And I'm also going to put it on, where else? On my website. As long as that's allowed to exist, right? We're going to the federal level, boys and girls. We are going to U.S. Congress to get this issue addressed. There's a lot of victims that's with me that have been, screwed over by the system. Gonna shout out Otis Johnson, longest former man in state history. Shout out Nolan Farrell, the guy who has a letter from the Conviction Integrity Unit of the Queen's DA's office saying that the evidence used against him was faulty. Shout out Muti Ojamu Sabre, one of the best activists that I've known in the whole thing. Shout out Theo Chino, who taught me a lot about the electoral system. Shout out Danny Mayo, right? Yeah, if you look up Queens GOP, you'll see that he actually fought for transparency within the party. Now the club is derecognized. It's very strange. Shout out Nunziato, got nothing against you. Your right to protect your own territory, but thanks for treating me like a brother. We're gonna see what's up, man. Anyways, yeah. Let's just put this out there, yeah. Only the trolls is watching, I know. That's how it is right now. The people who are paid by the establishment and the millionaires, right? Rather than acknowledge what I have to say, they're trying to break me emotionally, they're trying to break me psychologically, trying to break me physically. Y'all don't know what I've been through, so, you know what I mean? You think this is tough? I'm a war survivor. You have no idea what that means. You'll only know how to exploit my movement to make yourself rich, right? You know that it has a lot of power behind it. You've never really had to face that power, as in terms of holding yourselves accountable. All right, let's end it.